Hey, what's going on, guys? Rich Fix here, back with another video, and today we got a figure review on the brand new Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3, or in this case, Street Fighter 03, Hong Kong Arts Toys Expo exclusive Sagat. Now, this is absolutely wild for so many reasons. One, I already have this figure in hand after placing it about a week ago, maybe a week and a couple of days, but it is funny because for a lot of you, you don't even have the Player 1 yet. You know, from Big Bad Toy Store, the exclusive retailer of Storm Arena, which was supposed to be out Q4 and has already been out in China for about a month and a half now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but it's not a good look. We'll talk about that more at the end here, but for those that don't know, this is my grail in the Storm Collectibles. Obviously, it's a different scale, different game, but they've shrunk this down now, and they have this colorway or Player 2 version in the Street Fighter Alpha 3 realm, and, well, I am so excited. Now, it's not to say I do not have my gripes and my own little separate rant that we got to talk about at the end of the video, but, you know, put the negativity aside. We don't got to start off that way. We're going to just take it all in. Now, the main thing and the whole reason that you're going to watch this video is, what's different about this one compared to the Player 1? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there are some differences here. The main thing is going to be the box. Now, the box itself is obviously the same, but you're going to notice one main thing here is the darker skin tone. Now, does he come with the darker skin tone? We'll take a look at that as the figure comes out, but you can tell he is going to have a darker skin tone here, a darker skin tone on the side, and then on the back, I can't really tell. When I first saw these promotionals, I was like, it's dark, but it doesn't look as dark as I thought it did on the SDCC exclusive Ultra Street Fighter 2 Sagat. Again, hopefully I remember to put up an example of the tan one, because there was a noticeable tan on the collectibles one. Now, did this one get that? We'll have to take a look. But from all the pictures I saw, it doesn't look like it did. So we're going to put this over here to the side and bring in the Player 1. So there is the Player 1. We'll scooch this over just a little bit more. This box is having a little bit hard time holding, so we'll hold it there. But as you can see, the boxes are relatively the same. This one they both say Z-ism, but I'm not sure that this is supposed to be a Z-ism, right? Isn't this supposed to be? I'll check in post and I'll put it up on the, in text what it's supposed to. I don't think this is the Z-ism version of him, is it? I don't think it is. I feel like they were separate, but we'll have to look at that later. Now, taking a look at the back of the box, you're going to notice some differences. Obviously, we have different promotional shots. Now, we never actually saw promotional shots of this or this. We saw this and we saw this, but those are two new ones that never actually made it to, the internet for whatever reason. But even up here, you'll notice lighter, darker, lighter, darker, lighter, darker. Now, again, it's supposed to be that way, right? But again, it doesn't show that this is actually a different ism, so I don't know what's going on here, or what's going on with the packaging. I don't know if that's a QC issue, or if this is actually the same ism that it's supposed to be. But now it's time to get down to the good stuff, the actual figure. What's different? We're going to take a look at the different Sagats. We're going to put them side by side. We're going to see which one we like better. I mean, obviously that's opinionated, but we'll take a look, and we're gonna talk about the situation, I guess, with this figure and how I feel about it at the end, and then that's it. So hopefully you guys are excited. I know I am. It's been a long wait, even though it's been a week and a half, while a lot of you guys are still waiting for the first one. It feels like forever, but here we go. Sagat Player 2. Let's do it. Taking a look at the Player 2 Sagat out of the package, and I don't know. The funny thing is it doesn't look like the skin tone is actually different. Now, I don't have the other Sagat right next to me. We'll pull that over here in just a second, but the skin tone doesn't look any darker to me, but I can notice a lot more detailed shading, right? In the muscle tone. It looks like there was a lot more paint work done with this particular figure than the first one. Now, could that be they put a little bit more time and effort into the con exclusives? You'd like to think so. I mean, granted, you couldn't tell from the first two with the paint issues, am I right? But we've moved past that. They've learned. I'm not going to harp on them too much from that. Every company is going to have different QC issues no matter how new or how old the company is. It just happens. When you're making a mass production type of product, you know, there's a few bad apples that are going to sneak in the bunch. It's just what it is. But I can say, one, it smells amazing. It smells right from a factory. Right from a factory you would expect. It's got that really chemical smell, but I can't say that I don't enjoy that smell just a little bit, right? It's kind of got like that new smell, new car smell. It's just something about that smell. It's not a great smell. You wouldn't want to smell it all the time, but when you pull it out of the package, you're like, oh yeah, that's the good stuff, baby. But yeah, it does. I mean, the figure for sure has more detailed shading. Now, is the skin tone actually darker like it's supposed to be? I just don't think it is, man. And I don't have the other figure again. We will pull the other figure aside, but I really just wanted to kind of give you its own little exclusive look here. And then taking a look at the actual shorts themselves, a lot more darker and weathered than, I don't know. It's like they're not white. It almost kind of looks like a khaki tan with how much wash that they have on there, but it looks great still. Now, it was brought to my attention that I was giving a lot of shit to Storm. I was like, why are these looking like he's been through, you know, damage tested, like been through 1,000 fight shorts, but then his wraps are clean as a whistle, right? And look at the detail. I mean, with the white, with the bright white, there is a wash on the player one, and we'll take a look at everything, but you can really see the texture with this bright white. And the main thing that it was brought to my attention is this is how it's drawn and portrayed in the actual game. So shame on me for not knowing that, I guess. But I can't say that it still doesn't stand out pretty obviously when you've got it next to the shorts. So this is the figure itself. I'm not going to do really anything with the articulation. If you want to see that, go check out the first review. There's nothing new about the figure. I did wanted to show you really the differences between player 1 and player 2. But one of the main things that is different about this one compared to the player 1 is its accessories. So let's go take a look at those now. Taking a look at the first accessory is going to be the brand new head sculpt. It is going to be the gritting teeth, smiling. I feel like it's more like a smile, right? It's a little bit of a mix between like a grit teeth and a smile. I think this is actually supposed to be a gritting teeth. I think a lot of people, because it's kind of got that rainbow up, that people think it's a smile. I don't actually think this is supposed to be a smile. I do think this is supposed to be like the gritting teeth head sculpt of the bunch. But I know a lot of people are going to want a laughing head sculpt, as he's notoriously known for doing throughout the game. So we'll see if that ends up coming. But yeah, that is one of the main things. And because there is no skin tone difference between the 1 and 2, at least I don't think so. I don't know yet because we haven't done the comparison yet. But should you get this figure, if the skin tones are the same, you're able to use this on the player 1, and we'll obviously make that switch later on in the video, but that is the first known accessory to be different from the player 1. The next accessories that you are going to get with this Sagat is going to be the Tiger Shot punching effects. Now, these could be used as both. These could be used as standard punching effects or the build up to the actual Tiger Shot. So it does come for one for each hand, which is absolutely crazy because they're pretty elaborate. Like, they're not small pieces by any means. They're about probably a 2.5, 3 inches in length. So, I mean, they're not small by any means, but man, really, really good detail. I like the clear, the yellow to the orange to the red. A lot of good details. So that is going to be the left. You are going to get a separate one for the right. And like I said, just really, really nice. And it's got, it's the same as all the other effects. It's got kind of like that bendable, almost not gummy plastic, but you know what I mean. It's got a little bit of give to it. And then the last and final piece, which comes a little bit smushed, so you are going to have to bow that out just a little bit, is going to be the actual fire blast effect that would be across from these. So, would be something like that, and then it shoots it out. Now, this is going to come with a stand. I'll show that later, but just wanted to show the accessories by themselves. And like you can see, I don't know if this, I think you're going to, yeah, you're just going to have to heat this up and bow this out just a little bit, just so it can get like that full circle. But yeah, you'll notice it kind of comes pre-smushed in the packaging, but that's fine. We can fix that later, and it does have a stand piece right there that you can put on. So, I mean, everything you need to create a great scene. And the last accessory is just going to be the extra hands. He comes with these on his player ones, the little grappling hands, but again, these are also included with, just thought I'd point it out. As the comparison everybody wanted to see is going to be the player 1 on the left compared to the exclusive player 2 on the right. And, well, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, well, I mean, that's all opinionated, is going to be that the skin tones are the same. So, you will notice, though, again, the shading, there's way more shading on this figure, especially in the muscular, like, crevices of the figure. Like, you'll look at the shadow, especially in the collar. You'll notice that's not just shadow from the actual video. That's actual shading that's in there. You'll notice it more through the abdomen, too. It's definitely right there on the side of the abs. Then anywhere where there's obviously a muscular feature, you can notice it, especially in the calves, too. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Hopefully you can. But it's there. So it does look like they put a little bit more detail and effort into the exclusive as far as the paintwork, which, you know, I would hope so because it's an exclusive. It's limited, you know, a little bit more time and care. And one thing I am also noticing is the scar. Little bit darker here. I don't know if that's because just different paint was used or whatnot, but compared to this, it is a little bit darker. Now, I know your eyes may be playing tricks on you, but I promise they're the same skin tone. It's really just there's a lot more shading on this one. It's not a deeper tan or anything like that, but the shading almost does give it an illusion that the skin tone is different, and the scar being a little bit darker, but no. They are the same skin tone, so you can transfer the heads. I guess that's one of the benefits of them being the same skin tone. Now, should that be the case for what it is? Probably not, but, you know, we'll talk about that more at the end. But as you can see, side by side, they look really good, but definitely more detail on the right compared to the left. One thing I did want to show was the wraps, because there is a big difference there. There's clearly some type of wash on the P1 compared to the right. You can see it's a clean white compared to the left. I guess you could switch arms if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to get all Frankenstein with your figures and move legs and arms around, I guess you could do that. Or at least, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to mess around with the legs, but, yeah. So, I mean, I know that there's been some QC where they can't get the leg back in or it doesn't go back in very well. So, it's on you if you want to do that, but just see the different washes here on the texture of the wraps. Definitely different. Just to show that the skin tones are the same, here is the Player 2 exclusive gritting head sculpt on the P1, and as you can see, it's a perfect match. Alright guys, and then here is just a little shot of the effect pieces in action. As you can see, looks awesome. Really good. And I know it didn't show it in the promotional shots, but it does come with a stand to hold the fire blast at the end. As that is going to be my review on the brand new Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3 Hong Kong Art Toys Expo Sagat Player 2, and I love it, man. I mean, any of these Sagats that are going to come in an exclusive form are going to be a must-have. In fact, probably a double up, if not triple up, on a lot of them. But, man, it's not to say that we don't have to talk about some things, and I don't want to make this video a bummer. We do that enough. We do the griping and the ranting and everything like that on the other videos. But with this being an exclusive, I kind of have to mention it, right? Because there is not a skin tone difference. Now, for a lot of you, that's fine. You know, cross-compatibility with the Player 1 figure, that's awesome. But he has other exclusives that will come out where he is the actual same skin tone as the Player 1. So, I mean, granted, I mean, sure, there's, you know, it's faster, but it's like, it's not what it's supposed to be. I don't understand why. I mean, they had the tan skin tone. I've shown it to you guys, and hopefully I'm showing it right now, but why didn't they put it on this figure? Why? There's only two answers. One, Capcom got involved, and if that's the case, then that's fine. but we'll never know the true answer to that. 2, it's just a corner cut to hurry and get out an exclusive. So they had something for the event. And granted, I still love the exclusive, but it's like, I just don't see enough consistency with the toy community. It's just too much wishy-washy. The lines on the Spider-Man don't match, but an entirely different skin tone that doesn't even match the box is totally acceptable. I don't understand. The Wolverine is too big. He's too big. He's supposed to be smaller. But we have an image that's not even matching the exclusive. And they have the skin tone. We've seen it. The first ever image we saw of Sagat was a darker Sagat in the purple trunks. Now, it's not to say we might never not get a tan Sagat, because clearly they have one somewhere in the archives. So it either has to be Capcom, or this was a clear laziness corner cut. So there's that. And am I going to live with the skin tone being different or not being different? Sure. I absolutely still think this is 10 out of 10. Probably like this one even better than the first version, because there's a little bit more detail. You can see, obviously, there's a lot more shading and detail and things like that. But it's like, you missed the step that would have made this figure probably my favorite figure in a true 1/12 Street Fighter action form size. So it's like, man, it always feels like there's something with Storm Arena, right? There's always just that one thing where it's like, it was right there on being perfect. There was nothing wrong. And then there's just one little thing where it's like, why? Why did you do it? Now, that's the only thing where I'm going to get a little bit dramatic, I mean, and granted, that was an exaggeration, but it's like, man, this thing would have been, I would have bought 4. And granted, these weren't cheap either. And that's where we get into our second issue, is people are getting upset with the exclusives, especially them being out of the United States exclusives. Because one, Big Bad Toy Store, the official partner of Storm Arena, has yet to even fulfill those orders, where if you live in Hong Kong, that figure's almost been out for 2 months now. So it's like, there is definitely, no matter what, I am still going to be a Storm Arena fan. I mean, no matter what these companies do, whether it's Jada, Storm, Hasbro, we can sit here and gripe about things all day, but at the end of the day, is it going to stop me from buying figures? No. Now, with Storm Arena, it was a little bit of a different case on the first exclusives, because we literally had paint chipping right off the figure. Now, that was a deal breaker for me on buying any more until I saw things were going to get fixed. But the other thing with this being an out-of-states exclusive, that's fine. We've just seen more out-of-state exclusives, which is, now that comes down to the availability. Because I did, in the last video, mention I had a seller that had these available, and they sold out. He sold out. And it was an expensive price tag. This figure wasn't cheap. I think, like I mentioned, I quoted $75, $76 shipped. That's an expensive figure. That's damn near almost Storm collectible prices for a con exclusive, and they sold out. So, what's the next best thing? You got to go to Facebook, eBay. On eBay, the cheapest one is $150. $150? Yikes. And you go to the Facebook Marketplace, I think the cheapest you can find it is in the $90 realm. And that might include a tariff charge on top of that. So it's like, oh man, you really got to jump on these exclusives. I don't know that you guys take my warning serious enough if you're really trying to be all in on this line. And this is a cool one, man. This one really should have been available to everybody, because you get the, this is all opinion based, obviously, but you get the better effect pieces. You get a really cool additional head that wasn't included with the first one. What is it? Yeah, I definitely like this additional head better than the one we got on the first one. The first I got. Let me see. Alright, so here's the Player 1 additional head sculpt. I had to throw it in there. I can't talk about it without showing it. So it's almost like there's more menacing evil smile / could be a gritting teeth head sculpt. It could really go either way, where it's like, this one's cool, but it's like, this one just looks a little bit more evil, a little bit more menacing, a little bit more, I'm gonna come kick your ass, Mai Tai style, you know? So it's like, for all those that missed out, now you're really digging into that wallet a lot deeper. And that was the main thing that so many other YouTube reviewers are pitching about Storm Arena is, well, gee golly, and it's the same price as Jada Toys. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. None of these figures have been close to Jada. Well, okay. The big bad toy stores of the world, if you got in on the pre-orders and everything, yeah, you're getting them pretty close to the same price as Jada's, but you're waiting forever. You don't even have Player 1 Sagat yet. So it's like, man, it's such a fun, exciting line, and I love the product. Like I said, this is my favorite character now out of all the this is now my favorite 1/12 Street Fighter figure. Even though it doesn't have the skin tone, I'll live. I'm a big boy. I'm not going to sit there and cry about and lose sleep over it or anything like that. But it's like, man, you put it on the box. You put it on the box. Why did you even put it on the box? Look, darker skin tone. It's on the box. You didn't have to put it on the box, but you did. And you clearly had the lighter skin tone. Why didn't you just use the lighter skin tone? You had it. If you're not going to change the skin tone, then you don't fix the box. Just put the lighter one on the box. It's that stuff that bugs me. And then it's even worse when the community that is so fickle about every little scaling and the paint was off and this and he was bigger there and he doesn't look like that. But this one, people are like, well, as long as it's cross-compatible, then that sure is well for me. It's like, no. If you're gonna gripe about every single thing else with the Hasbros and the McFarlanes and every other action figure, Storm doesn't get the pass. They don't. And to me, it's like I said, I'm fine with it. I still love the figure, still my favorite. It's awesome, but it's like, why do the box? Why do the box? Because now everybody seems to think it's darker. It's just not darker. And it's fine because it's cool. It's like, oh, it's cross-compatible. But it's like, again, there are other Player 2s that I'm sure we're going to get of Sagat where it's the same skin tone as the Player 1. We could have gotten it later and made this one, darker. So I think that's more the thing that bugs me the most is that it's like there's just not enough consistency in the community where people are like, oh, Wolverine's too big. Oh, the Spider-Man's eyes aren't matching the comic right, and this and that. But it's like, we're clearly seeing this, right? That's the darker. This ain't darker. So it's like, why even switch the picture? You had the lighter picture, just use the lighter picture. Now, could we see a dark skin tone Sagat down the line? I actually think we will. And I'll be excited for that, but I was really hoping to get it with the white trunks, because it looks really badass and stands out really cool, and he actually looks more badass with the tan. And it's hard to imagine Sagat even being more badass than he is, but I think he looks just a little bit better with that deep tan. I don't know why. It's all opinion based. You guys could probably give two shits about that. But it's like, as collectors, we have an eye for detail, and well, this one's a pretty big one for me. So, does it ruin the figure? I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that, but it's like, he would have loved to have seen it. Now, at the end of the day, let's get back to it. Back on the positive train. Still love the figure. Still love it. Can you get it anywhere? Sure. eBay, Facebook groups, for a whopping price now. This guy is actually, he's not much more expensive. I think he's $5 more than the Ryu and Ken, but should you get him on the aftermarket, he's like $30 to $50 more than the original retail price. Even the con exclusives of Ken and Ryu, which is insane. And I can't tell you guys enough, if you want the Player 1, if you can't get this one, it's still available on Big Bad Toy Store. And I know a lot of people were worried about the chest thing. It's over. They fixed it. You're not going to get a bad chest piece. So go buy it before you end up having to pay $100 for your Sagat. Okay? I promise you the $40 and your little fear of the chest thing, it's been put to bed. It's over. That's not going to happen to your figure. It's gone. It was the small little first batch that came out. Me and a few other creators have already paid that price. We already took that gunshot wound. So don't worry about that. If you can't get this, go get the player one at Big Bad Toy Store before it sells out, and you have to pay for it later. Other than that, I've talked way too much for player two, but I just what could have been, you know? What could have been? But in the meantime, I absolutely love this figure. It is reigning supreme on my shelf at the moment. But other than that, guys, we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. If you've made it this far, consider subscribing me if you haven't already. If you don't want to do that, at least leave the like. I love you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later.